many years, we have been asking the Japanese automakers, give us your Kei cars. The Filipino market will love it, but they've always refused. Well, China's Jetour said, hold my ice cream. Hey everyone, Vince here from AutoIndustriya.com, and what I have for you today is the Jetour ice cream. And I reckon that it's the closest thing that we are going to get to something that resembles a Kei car in the Philippine market. The name Chery QQ is a familiar one to those who are very much embedded in the local auto industry because it was one of the first models offered by Chery back, I think, in 2007. And the hallmark of that car was affordability. Back then, I think it was like 300-something thousand pesos, which was really attractive in the Philippines. But of course, they're now moving on from that. And the QQ line over in China is actually pretty much represented by this model, or at least the one badge over there, as the QQ Ice Cream. But over here, they decided to offer it up as a Jetour branded model. But a lot of the things here are very, very interesting indeed, particularly for those looking for a first car, regardless whether it's an EV or not. You can tell from just one look that this is one cutely styled vehicle. You look at the proportions, the details, these puppy dog style headlights right there, the way they did the clean front end, that they're going for a very young target market. This one is strawberry. They also have the green one, which is the matcha. They have white one, which is vanilla, and they have the purplish one, which is the blueberry. Personally, I would pick the vanilla one because I kind of like how that one looks. I've seen a few of those on the road. They're pretty nice to look at. Now, wheel size on this one, these are 12 inches, so they're tiny by a lot of our modern standards. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind though, a lot of the panels around the vehicle are not metal, are not steel, and we can show you with this little magnet. You know, like, of course, bumpers aren't really, metal. Hoods, usually metal. This one is not. Fenders are usually metal, apart from some of the X-Trails of old. That's not. Door is also not metal. Same with the rear quarter panel. The pillar, nope. The upper pillar, nope. The only metal panel we can really find, apart from the, the actual metal bits, right there. That's it. The rest of the thing, the parts around the vehicle are just composites or the glass or some of the, the wipers, all that stuff. When you walk up to an ice cream for the first time, you can tell that it's a really small car. This is only 3 meters long, actually just a little bit under 3 meters long. And you can tell, and the width is only about 1.5 meters. The height, I think I'm actually a little bit taller than this. You could use this car for the Italian job and it will probably look right at home there. Now, the design of the rear, very neat and very clean. I like that. They even have a smiling U over here on the taillights, which looks rather neat. Again, like I mentioned, no steel panels here all around. It's all pretty much composite. To release the trunk, there's actually no button here. There is a grip there, but there's no button. You can release it by pressing a button there or using your key. There you go. Once you open it up, you can tell that there's enough space for a laptop there. And that's because of the dimensions of the vehicle. Again, 3 meters long. This is, I think I can fit maybe 4 of these in my 2-car garage. I do have to get a bit creative in how I position everything there. But the height from down below up to around here is about 34 inches. But when you fold down the rear seats, which by the way is 50-50 style, so you can do that by just doing that, the space expands from here to there about 28 inches to maybe a little bit more. We'll show you the metric conversions there if you so wish. You do have to notice that the actual floor for the cargo area is a bit high compared to some of the other hatchbacks on the market. The reason for that, and I'm just guessing here, is probably for safety. Because by having the belt line of this one high up, that means it helps protect the cabin. Because even with Kei cars, the real challenge is getting a higher degree of safety. So there are some different considerations when it comes to the engineering of the vehicle to make sure that the vehicle is safe for the occupants, and that's a good thing for something like the ice cream. As for what's under the hood, well, I can tell you that it has a hood, but a very, very tiny one. Because as you can see, there's not much going on under there apart from, refilling fluids like washer fluid, brake fluid. Here's your wiper motor. Here's a control unit for the charging system, which, by the way, the charger of this one is right under there, and it's a GBT, I think, that needs to have the adapter so you can hook it up to the Type 2. We'll confirm that, but I think that's the case for this one. Now, under there, there's really nothing because the battery is not located there. It's under the vehicle. It's a 13.9 kilowatt hour battery, which isn't that big. But given that it's a city car, it's planned to be that way, they kept it purposely small, but still give you the range of 170 kilometers overall. The motor of this one is not under here. It's actually in the back. It's mounted on a solid axle, right? So meaning it's got independent front suspension and not so independent rear suspension on a 3-link. It's a very different affair that they've got going on here with the Jetour Ice Cream. But looking at how they engineered the vehicle, this is where it kind of shines to have an EV system for something as small as a Kei Car, because it gives you the flexibility to move those components around where you see fit to be able to give you as much space as possible. So you look under there, they don't have to have a big engine bay to fit an engine because it doesn't have one. That means they can move the cabin a bit forward, giving you a little bit more room. Even the shock towers of this one, first time I've seen this, it's integrated with the bulkhead of the vehicle, so you don't need any strut towers or anything like that. It's just all there, giving each other mutual strength overall, which is what you want in any kind of car. But how does it drive? Well, we'll show you in a bit. But first, let's discuss what you can find inside the Jetour Ice Cream. The first thing you notice about the Jetour Ice Cream when you step inside is, for one, it's actually spacious if you're seated here in front, because they didn't go for the center tunnel because EVs don't need that. So you kind of have to, you can actually switch over if you want. So if you're, let's say, parked up against a wall and then you can only access this side, you can get it. It's like, you can do all kinds of things with this kind of, that sounds wrong. But anyways, it's clear that they went for the aesthetics of the interior to match the exterior. And you can see it with the application of the color. Again, the version we're driving is a strawberry flavored, which is why it's, pink or carnation. And then you have the accents there, same as the one on the outside. Door handles are white with the pink accent. Same with the pockets on the doors, the door grips there. But I like what they did with the plastics inside, because even though, yes, you do know it is plastic, the texturing is very well done. The switches actually work nice. There's tabs here, all that. It seems very solidly built. Definitely does not look cheap. That is what you want out of an economy car. You want the impression that it's a bit better than what it really is. And then you have the seats. Now, the seats itself, the actual cushioning on the backrest, I did note that there is a bit of a hump here, but I can live with it. It's like fine for everyday purposes. And once you sit down and really relax, it can be nice. Now, steering wheel, this is a 2-spoke thing with controls on either side. On the left, you have the controls for your, the modes of the audio system plus the radio. Yes, it does have a radio. And then you have your Bluetooth telephony stuff controls on the right side. Now, another thing you notice, there's no radio there, but there actually is. The radio is integrated into this single screen here in front of the driver, along with the Bluetooth. It also serves as your speedometer, tachometer, multi-info display, range, and all. It displays all that here. But there is actually a way to use this, and you use it as a mount for your phone. Now, my phone is I think the Xiaomi, and you put it up there, and then you hook up to the Bluetooth, and then, yeah, it's all well and good. that's how you use it. You use your phone as your, Bluetooth, and then you can display there. Just don't watch videos. That's not a good thing to do while you're driving. Now, right below it, you do have your AC controls. It's actually got a heater function as well, but we're not going to use that now. It's pretty hot now. And then right below it, you have a USB port. You have the Eco and Sport mode right here. So you press that, it goes into Sport mode right there. It becomes a bit more aggressive, a bit more liberal with the pedal. And speaking of pedal, if you check out the pedal, if you're ever confused about which one you're stepping on, you have plus and minus. I mean, I'll let you figure out which one is which, right? Now, below right here, you have your power window switches in the middle. So on the left, and for the driver's side, and for the passenger side is there. And then your transmission control is right here. Speaking of space, what's it like when you have 4 people in the ice cream? Okay, so we thought we'd do something a little different today and show you the space inside the Jetour ice cream with 4 adults. Say hi to Zach.
Hello.
Hey Barney. What's up? Nico, how are you? So, it's tight in here, but that is to be expected. We are all big adults. Zach, how tall are you?
6 foot.
6 foot. And how's the knee room there? Kasya pa naman? Kaya pa?
Kaya pa naman.
Kasi Barney's not sharing any leg room with you.
Yeah.
But still, kasya naman tayo. It's actually okay in here. And for a long drive, this should be just fine. But not exactly ideal, but it should work. Now back with the rest of the show. I think I just found the perfect song for the ice cream. Right here. Listen to this. First impressions of the Jetour ice cream. It's bouncy, that's expected, because the wheelbase is so short, there's no time for the front tires to settle before the rear hits a bump. And also, I think it's the suspension settings. It seems a bit too firm. For EDSA, this is the part I was kind of worried about, because on asphalt, on smooth asphalt, perfectly fine. But on EDSA's bouncy, cement, concrete roads, it's, subpar, I guess I would call it. But then again, that is what you expect out of an economy car. Things aren't going to be like some of the other bigger models. That's just, to be expected out of these vehicles. But at the end of the day, it's stiffly sprung for this kind of road. And if you're looking at this for a city car kind of thing, it should be okay. But you may want to, be a bit more selective about which roads you take it on, because EDSA, at least particularly this part, it's, that's just a fact of life. It's going to be bouncy with any car. This one is just a bit more noticeable. Now, as for noise suppression, well, you can hear there's an ambulance right beside me in the bus lane. You know what? It's actually not bad. Considering how, loud ambulances can be when, all the sirens are blaring. This one actually suppresses it very well, which is surprising. I mean, I've driven cars where, like, for example, the WeGo, you do hear like quite a bit of what's going on around you. This one seems to be all right. And given that it's an electric drive system, there's not much vibration going on in the vehicle. One thing I am trying to make sense of, though, are the noises I hear coming from the car. So, as typical from an EV, there is a whine, it almost sounds like a supercharger whine, like there, typical of an electric motor. When it accelerates, when it decelerates, you hear that kind of thing. It's kind of neat. It sounds like a jet engine kind of thing. Of course, very small jet engine. And another thing, they have car makers tend to put in an artificial noise into an EV to, to let people know that there's actually a car coming. Some car makers, like the premium luxury car makers, they turn to famous composers, that kind of thing, for to come up with a unique sound for their vehicle. In the ice cream, they kind of just selected a reversing tone for a lot of vehicles. Like the beep, 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 that kind of thing. I can hear it right now. It just sounds odd. It's like, am I in reverse or anything? That's the kind of confusion it creates in my mind anyway. But where this ice cream excels is really right here, city. Of course, given the level of comfort with the suspension, it's not gonna be impressive in that respect, because right now we're on the bad part of EDSA. But once we get past this a little bit, the acceleration is there. It's not gonna be like blindingly quick, like some of the other EVs, but you can tell this car wants to go, and that's what's enjoyable about it. We don't have any 0 to 100. I think I'll have to check the specs for that, but it can do 100. That's at least what I hear. But mostly we will drive this in the city, which is where it kind of belongs. And that's the thing, though. The range of this one is, the battery itself is not that high capacity, but all things considered, the fact that it can actually hit 170 kilometers on an NEDC range, that's actually pretty impressive. Because when you're, one of my guys drove this over the weekend, I brought it home to Cavite, then came back. He had to charge once, and the charging was pretty quick. You won't really 0% an EV, but just he plugged it in overnight, woke up the next morning, car was fully charged and ready to go. And given the disparity in cost between a kilowatt hour of energy versus a liter of fuel, depending on the consumption, with your vehicle, owning an EV is perfect for a daily commute. I just wish they worked on the suspension a bit, because you do feel every bit of EDSA when you're driving this. For what Jetour and Chery wanted to achieve with the ice cream, I think they got it right. Okay, again, they need to work on some of the comfort things. But considering where the vehicle is priced and who it's positioned for, I think it's going to be a good alternative for your first EV, rather than try an internal combustion engine car, that kind of thing. But yeah, they really just need to work on the suspension, and it should be okay. And maybe improve on the sound system too, because the speakers on this one are no good. If I play another song right now. All right, more ice cream.
A few moments later.
On my brief little drive of the ice cream, well, one thing I noticed, that it kind of felt like a go-kart, like bouncing around the way it is, because all the wheels are pushed out. Those are just 12-inch wheels. But anyways, we thought we'd try it a little bit on our course. My guys are out having lunch now, so I think I'll have fun here at our warehouse. So let's see if we can have some fun with this car. First, we get out of eco mode and into sport. So in sport mode, the response should be a little bit quick. So let's see how it goes. 3, 2, 1. Okay. It surges forward, and then you come in here. It's got body roll, that's for sure. It's clearly not meant for this kind of thing. It is rear wheel drive, so keep that in mind. You sometimes might hear the rear sliding around a bit. Maybe I won't. You know what? I might as well go up here and see what that's like. Whoa! Body roll. That's to be expected. See if you can actually feel the rear trying to slip. You can feel the rear wheels trying to slip out, and it's kind of fun. Now, in this kind of driving, you want a bit more damper control, because I think the springs are strong, but the dampers aren't that strong either to match it. So either you go for a comfort car or not, but still. It's a hoot to drive, but of course, just because it's rolling around, it's not gonna be super fast. But the fact that it's rolling around and like this, it's enjoyable. I hope I don't roll the car around. Let's lean over. And then if I power it through here, see if I kick the tail out. Yeah. Maybe I won't do that again. Sayang yung gulong eh. The Jetour ice cream. I really enjoyed my time with this car. That's no exaggeration. It's a fun little EV to drive every day. It's not the most powerful, but it can definitely serve as something that you're driving every day to and from work, to and from school, that kind of thing. There are some quirks with the vehicle, I'm not gonna lie, because I think really it's more of the suspension. Once they balance it out, once they fine tune it for, let's say, our concrete roads, it's gonna be a great everyday car. But first, we have to ask, who is this vehicle not for and who is it for? Now, if you live in a, say, apartment or condominium where you don't have access next to your parking slot to a 220-volt outlet, then this might not be the car for you. Also, if you're a tall person, like as found out by our creative director, Nico Villegas, he is 5'10", driving it is not ideal for his height because the limitation of the railings of the front seat doesn't allow him to get the ideal driving position. But for my height, well, it's just fine. I can get a comfortable driving position, only just. Now, who is it for? Well, it's for someone who's looking for an affordable everyday car that they can go home at night, go into their garage, plug it in, and the next day you're charged up and good to go. It's no different from how you use your phone. That is what this car was meant to be. It's not meant to be a long distance driver because the range, 170 kilometers, you are going to be limited in that sense unless you plan out your charging along the way. Let's say to Baguio, I hear they're building more and more charging stations on the way there. But if you're using this one as an everyday car, an everyday cruiser, it's going to be just fine, and it retails for 699,000 pesos. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the ice cream and which flavor you would pick.